Welcome to Tathastu. Welcome to our S.A.T.R.A.P series, which is a part of the Aadharshila series run by Tathastu. Tathastu provides you free content to help you with your prelims preparation. And in this series, S.A.T.R.A.P, we discuss the previous year questions that have surfaced in UPSC related to science and technology. So today is the turn for this question called solar water pumps. Again, as we see, the UPSC's interests and the government's interests, they are in line with each other. Since our government is so much associated and so much interested in solar power utilization, that is the reason why UPSC is also coming up with questions related to solar power, and this is happening every year almost. So that is why we will be discussing this question in detail related to the mechanism and the science and technology portion for solar water pumps. Again, we have numerous commitments related to solar power, and one of the most primary and most promising commitments that India has made to the world is the Panchamrit scheme. This was India's promise to UNFCCC. Okay, so India's promises to UNFCCC or under the Paris agreements makes solar power a very important thing for our scheme of things. So let's just discuss this question. Again, as we have previously seen that UPSC is not interested to let you know or not interested to see if you know deeper technicalities. It just wants you to know how much there is things going around, the minor intricacies, the day-to-day observations. This is all what UPSC is expecting. And now we'll see how this question can be solved with nothing but just a basic awareness about our surroundings. So the first statement in this question is solar power can be used for running surface pumps and not for submersible pumps. So here UPSC wants you to know if just surface level utility is there for solar power or can it be used for underground also. Now it doesn't require for solar energy to be acting only on the surface, or even if it is, the unit, the motor can be placed on the surface and we can submerge the pump inside. The motor will anyway start running. Okay, we'll see how this is utilized, but just using plain logic, we can know that this is a wrong statement. There is no discrimination made by solar energy, whether they want to run a submersible pump or they want to run a surface pump. There is a difference, but the basic idea is surface pump will be on the surface and submersible pump will be inside the surface or maybe inside a well. There is a well and inside the well there is a submersible surface, but solar energy will still be able to penetrate this, and that is why this statement is incorrect. I am just trying to see what are the basic things which if we know, then we can solve this question. Alright. So, but even if it is underwater, even if it is submerged inside water, still solar energy is able to penetrate to a certain depth, at least up to 6 meters minimum, and also we studied in environment that it can go up till 10 meters. That is the level of energy which is there inside solar power, solar energy, right? So we can easily eliminate this statement. Coming to the next statement, can be used for running centrifugal pumps and not the ones with a piston. Again, this is an absurd and blatant statement which can easily be rejected, because what is the reason one can possibly think that it cannot run a piston? There is nothing wrong, there is nothing lacking in solar energy that it cannot run a one with a piston. So this question can conveniently be solved and we can derive our answer. Coming back to what are solar pumps. So basically there are two words, solar and pumps. What is the role of a pump? A pump will actually try to pump water. it will try to pump a water. We've all seen pumps in our houses. What is a pump doing? It is basically creating some sort of a suction. It is creating some sort of a vacuum, because of which the water is transferred to the end unit. Alright, so there is a source and we have a target. So water or any form of liquid is getting pumped from the source to the target. For this we are using a pump. This is the only thing. There is nothing more in this. So the pump concept is clear, and solar is the energy for the sun, from the sun. So solar pumps are actually trying to pull out water using solar energy. This is all they are doing. Now there are types of solar pumps. One of them is submersible and the other is surface. Now what are surface pumps? Surface pumps are those which will withdraw water from the surface. They are installed closer to lakes, closer to ponds, and they just pick out water from here, transfer it, and they are able to irrigate a field. This is the sole application of a surface pump, but they are able to pump water to vast directions but horizontally. Vertically, they do not have much of a capacity. They can pump water up to somewhere around 6 meters deep. Okay, they are able to pull out water from a lake or a pond, or maybe a nearby river, and take it and supply water to a field, agricultural field. Or again, it could also be used for household purposes. Alright, so it can also be utilized to water utilities. What is utilities? Day-to-day chores, day-to-day activities, bathing, washing clothes. For all this, we can utilize surface pumps where we take water from a nearby water resource and we fetch it to the target houses, to the ones which demand that energy, that water. So this is the use of surface pumps. They can be used for household utilities also. Moving on to the submersible pumps. Now submersible pumps have an application of withdrawing water from an underground water reservoir. In this case, we have a well. In the well, we install a solar pump. Solar pump utilizes energy from the sun, fills the lumen of the pump with water, and then this water can be utilized for its various purposes. Now here the question comes that where are we utilizing the source, like where is the reservoir? If it's on the surface, then we are using a surface pump. If it is inside the surface, the water resource is down, then it goes for a submersible pump. So naturally, submersible pump will be able to pump in, will have more energy channeled towards vertical withdrawal, whereas surface pumps will have more horizontal capacities, because the entire energy will be required by a submersible pump to pull out water from the ground surface. Alright, so this is the first thing that we learn. Coming up to, there we have come across one more term, which is photovoltaics. This was also a part of our UPSC question in 2022 and 2023. So photo and voltaics. Photo means light and voltaics is something related to voltage, creating a potential difference and ultimately leading to creation of electricity. But the question here doesn't discuss about photovoltaics. So basically there is no element of electricity usage involved as per the question, although we may install electric photovoltaic chips inside a solar pump so that the efficiency may be improved. Sometimes the submersible pumps are fitted with photovoltaics so that they are able to pull out, so that they have more capacity, more power. Alright, so this is the one thing which comes into play when we are discussing about submersible pumps and surface pumps. Moving on to running centrifugal pumps and not the ones with piston. What is a submersible pump? What is a piston pump? And what is a centrifugal pump? For a piston, there is presence of a lever-like structure. This is the one which will perform the work. This is the one which will be performing the work of withdrawing water or running the motor. There will be a motor installed in the whole system which will actually start to run the pump. Alright, solar energy is required by the motor to start running, to start operating. So it operates in two ways. One is there is simple energy applied just to pull the piston or to move the piston in horizontal or vertical direction, depending on the utility, depending on what we are deploying the pump for. The piston starts moving. This is the simple most possible type of solar pumps. Moving on to centrifugal. In centrifugal, there will be a motor running which will have a rotational motion of a very high frequency. The motor will run in a very high speed this way, because of which the work required is performed. Now, when we want to dig very deep, we use this kind of motors. But if we have shallow work, something like watering fields or something like using for household chores, using from lakes, the submersible type of pumps, in that case we use piston kind of pumps. Alright, moving on to the next part of our question, where we get to know what is the utility of solar power. Now, solar power has a very wide application. Why? Because solar power is unlimited. There is immense solar energy present and it can reach to places where conventional power lines cannot reach. Okay, so if we have an electricity line, it does not reach to all the corners of the country, to all the nooks of the country. But our dearest sun is available without any discrimination. Or even if it does discriminate because of cloud cover or something, but there is still enough solar energy present in almost every nook and corner of the country, which can be utilized for doing our, for meeting our energy needs. And that is why solar power is such an essential component to meeting our energy demands, and hence it is a part also for our commitments under Panchamrit. Alright, so this finishes our discussion for solar water pumps. We have already achieved the answer for this question, and I am sure after going through the entire discussion, you may be able to know a little bit more than you were already aware about solar pumps. Thank you.